where we go. Okay, what I know. Welcome to our final morning meeting of the year. It's the last day of school. We made it, you guys. We got through graduation. We did all of it. So here we go of what I know, what I don't know, and what is yet to come for next year. And I know I have a question in the Q&A, and that's on my topic. So I want to talk about next year because this is a really good question. Next year, there are 3 options for families in the district. Okay. So that means it helps if I actually like send the link to the attendees who are here. Okay, there we go. Okay, option number 1, of course, our best homeschool program still exists in the district. So you can do best homeschool if you're a current homeschool student or if you've been in homeschool before. You know that you can usually take like up to 1 or 2 classes here at West Valley. You still can participate in activities, come to our dances, different things like that. So that option still exists, always has existed. They've improved and expanded on what they offer. And if you're interested in that, you should definitely check it out. Okay. Okay, other 2 options, in person at West Valley. So what the school district has shared is that there is not going to be a remote option for next year. So whereas right now you've been hybrid or you've been remote, that option is not going to exist for next year. If you're enrolled at West Valley for 6 classes a semester, you're attending in person at West Valley. There is, however, also though, the e-learning option that existed before and still continues to exist will also be an option for next year. So e-learning, and then we now have expanded to e-learning full-time, e-learning part-time. So those are new. It used to only be part-time e-learning. So what does that look like? If you're in full-time, I'm gonna hold it on this side just to mix it up. If you're full-time e-learning, that means that you're taking 3 to 6 online classes, and that here at West Valley, you could have up to 1 lab class where you're in a computer lab with our lab facilitator doing your classes online. So full-time, 3 to 6 classes online, and then 1 lab class in your schedule. Part-time, that would be 1 to 2 classes online, and then you could have those lab classes in your schedule throughout the day. So maybe you have a, first and second period e-learning lab class where you would be working on your e-learning classes. And I will, there's a website that talks all about e-learning. I will send out one last end of year update that includes this video and then those links to those different options out there. So that's also an option, e-learning. Okay, here's the other thing I know. The school board decided on school start times. They decided on scenario 1, which goes back to the earlier times for high school and moves middle school to an earlier time. So if you are a sophomore or a junior and you experienced West Valley before COVID, pre-COVID, we started at 7:45 and we went until 2:15. So that is what scenario 1 was. Now there was some dialogue in the school board meeting about what the actual start time will be. So there's probably going to be more discussion around that, and it is not fully finalized. So I just want to share that with you guys, that I'm going to share next year's schedule with you, but only because I know that it's confusing, and especially if you're new, you want to know these things. So I'm going to give you a schedule that doesn't have any times on it. I hope I'm going to do this right. Okay. You guys can see a schedule, I hope now. So this schedule, let me drag it over here so I'm looking at it. Oh, I paused my share. Why did you do that? Resume share. Okay, there we go. So this schedule shows that we're shifting back to our previous plan with 6 classes a semester. So that's important to know because right now we are doing only 3 classes a quarter. We're going back to 6 classes a semester. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you guys knew that because that's a really big shift too, is that we're going to go back to what we had before in terms of 6 classes a semester, not doing quarters anymore. Okay, I'm just checking Facebook because I'm really nervous that it's still going on Facebook, so I really hope it is. Okay. It looks like it is, so that's good. Okay, the other thing I wanted to say is that We're shifting the schedule slightly to not have SSP in the middle of the day and to instead have an extension period, what we're calling an extension period at the end of the school day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when we have those longer block classes, at the end of the day, we'll have an extension period. And we're going to do some different things through that class period. I know somebody put in the Q&A, is there going to be an orientation day next year for sophomores that there was for freshmen? Gosh, that's a great question. And I'm going to come back to that. But we're hoping in that extension period that we're going to have like a sophomore seminar class for all sophomores to be in. We'll have a freshman seminar class for all freshmen to be in to help with those kind of orientation pieces of getting used to West Valley, of understanding who we are as a school. We're also looking at offering different classes during that time, both for students who maybe need to recover some credit or for students who are looking to kind of extend themselves. So I wanted to give a preview of the schedule that doesn't include any times, since those are still not 100% like this is exactly when the buses will be coming and the buses will be leaving kind of thing. But I wanted you guys to know kind of what it looked like. So there is the preview of the schedule for next year. Okay. I'm going to stop that and go back to this. Okay, next thing on my list, somebody asked about are masks optional. So when the CDC changed their guidance about what masking requirements were for people who are fully vaccinated, the school district also adopted that guidance. So like right now at school, if you're over 16 and fully vaccinated, which means you've received both doses of either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine and are 2 weeks after your second dose, or if you received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which none of you have because it's not approved for under 16 yet, 2 weeks after the 1 dose, because that's a 1 dose vaccine, right? So for our students who are, between 16 and 18, it's only the Pfizer vaccine that's been approved. So if you've gotten both doses and you're 2 weeks after, then you do not have to wear a mask anymore. And we're relaxing our social distancing. So I assume, and I guess I don't know, right? Like we don't know exactly what next year will look like in terms of mitigation, but I would say that if that's what we're doing right now, it's probably a pretty good idea that that is what we would look like for the future. Also, the other thing I want to make sure you guys know is that the Pfizer vaccine has been approved for 12 to 15-year-olds, which is awesome. And they've been doing lots of vaccination clinics. So I would think that as that population expands, that we would be sure to look at if those students are fully vaccinated, then you wouldn't have to wear masks anymore either. So again, I don't have any specifics on that other than what we've currently been doing as the CDC guidance has changed, and I would think that that would continue into next year. Okay. Ooh. The next question about the orientation day for sophomores. So we do, and this is really interesting, and we'll have to talk about this as a team, we do currently have the option to have that freshman first day. So that first day of school would just be for freshmen. So we've been talking about how we might approach that. This is a really interesting question though. For sophomores who haven't been in the building before, could we do some sort of an orientation day? So I'm going to put that on my to-do list to talk about with the team of what do we want to do for sophomores that haven't been in the building before to help make sure they're oriented and know exactly what West Valley looks like and how we do things here and whatnot. So that's a great question. Okay. Oh, somebody else asked, I heard that you guys weren't allowed to ask us if we have been vaccinated, so it's optional. Yeah, I mean, so it's right, just like with the CDC, it's kind of on the honor code for you to be honest about if you're vaccinated and whatnot. We're not asking anybody if they're vaccinated or requiring any sorts of documentation around that. It's just on the honor code. Okay. The other thing I wanted to share is that there are a lot of, and this is just going to be in the chat, but I'll include this in my follow-up email. There are a lot of summer programs that are happening in the school district. So I wanted to make sure people knew about summer programs, so you can look for those. And then the other thing is the school district, and I'm going to share my screen here real quick, has a new flyer approval program that also is including, or is shares and has a whole lot of community flyers out there, which is super awesome. So I'm going to share that with you guys real quick here so you can see it. I have to find my share screen button again. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go to this one. Okay. So if you go to k12northstar.org/flyer, it has all the information about getting a flyer approved. But then if you join the board, it shows you all of the different flyers that have been approved by the school district. And in that, it includes a ton of summer things that are happening throughout our community and throughout the district. And so I wanted to make sure you guys knew about this new flyer page because we're super excited about it because it has a ton of really great information on it. And we're really excited that it's now easily accessible and it's not, you know, of course, dependent upon if you're in the building and can see those flyers. So I wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys. And those are actually all the things that I had. So I'm going to send, just so you guys know, if you're watching on Facebook, I will send to families information about the summer programs, information about e-learning, and then I'll also include a link to this video, of course. So if you're not seeing it, that's where you can see it there. And those are all the things that I had. Okay. And students, hopefully you filled out the responses. I am going to randomly pick a number between 1 and 12 and give out a prize. Generate a number. Okay, number 3, I will go to my form and I will probably email you this morning because you need to know if you need to come pick it up. We'll be here next week, but if you need anything from there. Okay, guys, that is all that I have. I can't believe we did this. You guys are amazing. Such a ridiculously hard year with so many changes and comings and goings and so many different things. So I just really appreciate, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I covered everything. I just really appreciate everybody's patience and willingness to give feedback and ask questions because that has really been invaluable for us as we've navigated this year. I hope you guys have a great summer. My last day is May 28th, so I'll be here next week, you guys, but then we won't be back until mid-July. So we will have an out of office closed message on our phone. So if you need anything, you can always call the school district 452-2000 and they can help get you to the correct person to answer your questions. All right. Bye, guys. I miss you.